So our section looked at how active employment programs were implemented in both models, centralized and decentralized. Given the limited time I have, I'm not able to provide you with the wealth of feedback that we have. So we had inputs, valuable inputs from federal region of Krasnoyarsk and Austria, Denmark and Vietnam. So let me try to brief you about the transient characteristical features in implementation of these two models, as well as opportunities that open up when choosing this or that model. So the most positive thing is that everyone said investment must be synchronized with the employment policy, and it applies both to traditional industries and new high-end industries. So I think simple active employment measures are currently not enough to assure full employment in the country. So we need to resort to macroeconomic, financial and other leverages. A lot was said about job creation, and we also focused on labor mobility. And we're able to look at different experiences. For example, Krasnoyarsk, where there is an information center looking to attract people from other regions, which stems from the peculiarity of the region, which essentially always focused on attracting people from other regions. We also talked about professional orientation for all graduates, and stemming from this is the need to assure that robust training is achieved in educational institutions. A lot was said during our section that demand for labor needs to be better analyzed. Better coordination with the private sector was also highlighted, and our speakers mentioned that they have been able to achieve positive results in communicating with the private sector, in engaging young people. So as for the challenges, shortage of labor, especially in the blue-collar group, and as a result we need to implement proactive measures, for example, working with different age groups to compensate for this shortage of particular labor groups. In terms of cross-regional labor mobility, we said that it can only be successful with uniform standards, and the decentralized model is not really helpful in that regard. So if there is no uniform approach, one can hardly expect the mobility to be well developed. So we were uniform in our opinion that the main danger is lack of uniformity in the decentralized system. So the shortfall of the decentralized model, as seen by our Vietnamese colleagues, is that proper use of all local resources can never be achieved, and localization is never adequate. As for the shortfalls of the centralization, as I mentioned, quality is often dependent on the local resources quality, and I think that the colleagues from the Russian Federation can support this opinion. In Russia, a lot depends on the local budgets and the allocations from those budgets to the employment initiatives. As for the opportunities, decentralization, better understanding of regional and local peculiarities, better link with the investment projects in a particular region, which is great because it establishes direct correlation between employment and investment policy. If the employment service is the one-stop shop, then we can always align our efforts in the relevant direction. Our Danish and Austrian colleagues underscored the importance of social partnership. As they said, social partners participate in decision-making and policy development at all levels. The Uniform Employment Service carries out its functions in the overall objective framework and integrates both active and passive measures. In decentralized model, the following opportunities were seen: co-financing from the region towards the initiatives carried out by the employment service. So standardization is the upside of the centralized policy as seen by everyone. And personally, I would like to add that the International Labour Organization holds an international conference each year in June that brings together about 5,000 people from all countries. So, and for the country to be able to vote, the delegation needs to be tripartite. And at this conference, the important agenda is adopted. And employment service is always at the top of the agenda. And I think that, and as I remember, this year, the conference dwelt upon how important it is, and I would like to thank our Japanese colleagues that referred us this morning to the 88th convention, whereas employment service is an important contributor. However, the choice of the model depends on the country. It's up to the country to decide which suits best. However, it's important to measure the efficiency, and once you do that, you'll be able to find your own way. I think that the discussion, both during the plenary session and the section work, were fruitful, and I would like to thank our colleagues from Rostrud for organizing this event. Thank you.